All right, so we are on lesson 14, unit fractions by non-unit fractions. Our goal, I will be able to multiply unit fractions by non-unit fractions. Whoa. So yesterday we looked at unit fractions by unit fractions. All right, so remember unit fractions are one of something. So 1/3, 1/2, 1/4. Okay, but now we're multiplying those by non-unit fractions. So we might see something like 3/4 or 2/3. All right, let's get into our first problem. So Keisha has 3/5 of a pan of Rice Krispie treats. She brings 1/3 of them to school. This kind of sounds familiar from yesterday, huh? So our question is, what fraction of the whole pan did she bring to school? All right, so this one is a little bit different from yesterday, right? Yesterday we were doing unit fractions, and now we have 3/5 in here. All right, this is not a unit fraction. If it were, it would be 1/5. Okay, so once again, it is very, very, very similar to yesterday, and it will seem very easy once you look at the problems and there's a pattern. Okay, but the why is most important. All right, so we're still going to be drawing. So let's go ahead and draw this. Now, she has 3/5, so that's what we're going to show first. All right, just in order of what the word problem is telling us. All right, so we're going to partition into fifths because that's our unit. All right, there's 2, 3, and 4, and 5. All right, I'm going to make it a little bigger so I don't have to shade as much. So I'm going to go 3. Nope, I'm going to go bigger. All right, 3. All right, so all I'm doing is I'm showing 3/5. Okay. Now, she didn't bring all of that to school, unfortunately. Maybe she shared with a friend or whatever. But she only brings 1/3 of those to school. So our unit's in thirds, so we're going to show 3 going the other way. All right, and I'm going to shade in one of those. 1/3. All right, now the answer. Okay, we have our drawing here. We've shaded with 2 different colors. We have 2 different fractions going on, but remember, our answer is going to come from the double shaded ones. All right, so if you can tell, we have 1, 2, 3. That's going to be our numerator. All right, now our denominator is everything in here. Okay, so if you want to count, you can, but it is 15, right? So 5, 10, 15. That's where I got that. All right, and there's our answer. She brought 3/15 of the whole pan. Okay. It is very similar to yesterday, but it's the model that I'm looking for. All right, Echo. She has 3/4 pan of cookies. She brings 1/3 of them to school. What fraction of the whole pan did she bring? All right, once again, oh look, I have all this space to use. Once again, here's her whole pan. All right, we're in fourths on this one. All right, remember this is a non-unit fraction. All right, there's fourths. I'm going to shade in 3 of them. Hopefully you guys do your shading a little bit better than this. All right, I'm going to switch colors just so it's a lot easier to see. And she brings 1/3 of them to school. So I'm going to now partition into thirds. And I shade in 1/3 of them. I'm going to shade the bottom this time just because. Does it matter? Nope, not at all. All right, so now I'm going to count them up. All together, I have 4, 8, 12. That's my denominator. All right, my numerator comes from the ones that are both shaded, double shaded, sorry. Right, so we have 3 of those. Okay, so we have 3/12. Okay, now we've been talking about how we need to reduce, 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 simplify, simplify, simplify whenever we can. So remember, I'm looking for a number that can go into both of them. Obviously, 3 only has one number. Okay, it has 2 numbers, but 1 doesn't count because it'll be the same thing. But it has 3 can go into 3, and 3 can go into 12. So if we divide each of those by 3, we get 1/4. All right, so on your problem set, on your homework, when you're doing this, go ahead and reduce if you can. All right, now we don't have a word problem for this one. We're gonna go ahead, I just want you to solve 1/2 times 4/5 using your fraction model and the equation, okay? So, I'm not gonna solve this one. This will show up on the quiz. So you can pause here, and I want you to solve it. And then at the end, you'll see on the quiz that this problem is there. All right, last one. Mr. Sims uses 3/5 of the kickballs in class. Half of the remaining are given to students for recess. What fraction of all the kickballs is given to students for recess? Now, there is a very key phrase here. All right? It's not really going to affect us for right now, but it will affect if it were a different fraction, okay? So we know he has 3/5. Let's go ahead and just draw that first. All right? Ooh, this is really long. All right, let's show 1, 2, doesn't have to be perfect, 3, 4, 5. All right, and we're gonna shade in, let me go really big. What does that look like? Let's shade in 3. Oh, yeah. Oh, this is so much easier. All right, so shade in 3/5. Okay, now looking at the second part, half of the remaining. All right, this says remaining, whatever is left, okay? Sorry, the R is kind of missing, but anyway, the remaining, okay? So if this were a different fraction, we would have to figure out what is remaining. But half, well, whatever is remaining from half is half, all right? Now, if it were 2/3, the remaining would be a little bit different. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead, show, that's not 1/2, but anyway, I'm gonna keep going with it. All right, let's pretend that's 1/2. All right, and go ahead, shade it in. I'm just gonna do this quickly, but we can definitely see which ones are double shaded. All right, so there's 3/10. All right, did you notice all of them were 3? That's weird. I did not plan that. Anyway, so there's our answer, 3/10. Please remember it is all about the drawings for these couple of lessons, all right? Make sure you understand that so that, when you do your